everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood, continuing to get you set for the Masters Online Qualifier as we break down all the age groups. Today, we focus on the women's side, 35 all the way up to 49 years old. And that 35 to 39-year-old division is pretty cool to look at because there are a lot of names in there that you're going to recognize from CrossFit Games past.
Well, Sean, you know, Tommy, you know, everyone out there in TV land knows, at CrossFit HQ, ask and you shall receive. The community wanted this division. There was a lot of clamoring for it for multiple years. We listened, and now we're going to see it for the first time play out.
And this division on the women's side has the biggest carryover to the individual side of the house, with a handful of athletes that could make it to the games as individuals or through this Masters route.
And the woman who won this division in the Open is the prime example of that, and that is Samantha Briggs, who had 14 total points. She beats Kirsten Pedri by 22 points. Stephanie Waugh finishes third. She also did really well in the Service Open. But we need to talk about both Briggs and Pedri here as winners because in all likelihood, Samantha Briggs will be competing at the games, which means Kirsten Pedri goes in possibly to the CrossFit Games in this age group as the top seed.
All right, let's hash through this right now. First of all, Samantha Briggs. Every 35 to 39-year-old female competitor that I talk to, they're like, it's not even fair that she's listed on the leaderboard. You know, let her go to regionals as an individual. She probably will, but she has two routes. Get to the games that way or through the Masters Online Qualifier. So I expect her to try to pursue both. In case you don't know who Samantha Briggs is, you must not watch the program. Shame on you. She won the games in 2013. She's won the Open, as you guys know, twice as well. Her worst finish in the Open was 17.3, where she took 10th place. First places in every other workout. And even though it was her worst finish, it was her proudest workout because of how far her Olympic lifting has come. Moving on to Kirsten Pedri, second place in the Open. Now this is somebody not a household name like Samantha Briggs, but a phenomenal athlete. She has made it to regionals 4 times. She's a co-owner of CrossFit Davis in California, finishing as high as 8th at regionals, which means you're a phenomenal athlete, but you're just outside that cool top 5 graphic that makes it onto the show and whatnot. But now in this division, this might be the chance that she's needed to finally make it onto the field at the games.
You mentioned games experience, and there is a lot of games experience and women who have that, who can possibly push for the top spot after the Masters Online Qualifier. You have Becca Voigt, a woman who we always seem to forget about going into regionals, and there she is in the top 5 going to the games. Valerie Voberl, another woman who is doing what Val Voberl does, is sort of lurking behind and then ends up winning the whole thing. And then there's Sarah Skoll, who you might recognize because she has been somewhat of a fixture at regionals.
Yeah, and she may not have quite the name recognition that some of these other athletes that are on the leaderboard with her have as a result of individual games appearance. But Sarah has been to regional 7 times, and last year she had her best finish in the Open, 25th worldwide. Now, she hasn't had quite the success at regionals that you might have think based on her finishes. She struggled with injuries in the past, but she has a great engine, which she showcased in 17.5, with just thrusters and double unders, just stick your head down and go. She showcased some improved gymnastics, which have hurt her in the past in 17.2, which had all those toes to bar and muscle ups. And if you look at her competitive history, she was an All-American track athlete at Georgetown, and then she was on the Olympic development team for triathlon. So if she can get through the Masters Online Qualifier, we tend to see more running at the games, and she has some skills that could really shine at the games level.
All right, let's move on to the 40 to 44-year-old division, and that is where Helen Harding continues to dominate this age group. She wins again, 27 total points, beats Jen Hauser and Karen McAdam by 9, and it is pretty unfair that Helen Harding is this fit.
Pat mentioned it earlier, but Helen Harding is
incredible.
She's the Sam Briggs of this division. She is very clearly the top dog in this division. She won every single stage of the competition last year. That's the Open, Masters Online Qualifier, and at the games when she duked it out with our desk analyst here, Annie Sakamoto. But she's not just a beast as a master. She's competitive on the worldwide scale as an individual athlete. She was 4th overall in Australia, so we're going to probably see her at the Pacific Regional, where she could qualify there based off her open standing. And then in 17.2, she was 10th worldwide in that workout. That's not just for the Masters, that's for every single woman on the planet. She beat 2nd place in her division by 23 reps, and I just don't think she can be stopped.
Well, you mentioned Annie Sakamoto, our compatriot here on the Update Show. She is among a handful of women who have a chance of doing very well in the Masters Online Qualifier and setting themselves up for success at the CrossFit Games. And Annie, came close. I mean, as close as you can come to Helen Harding last year, 2nd place. She would love to find a way to get herself on top of the podium this year.
We have to brag about Annie for a while. She's by far the fittest member of the analyst team here at the desk. We wish her well, trying to make her way back to the games for a second time as a master. But this year, she did so well in the Open overall that she qualified to go to regionals as an individual. Incredible achievement in the 40 to 44-year-old division. She's been to the games twice previously as an individual, back in 2012 and 2011, one of those times breaking the top 10. And she also won the Spirit of the Games Award in 2011, which I think is one of the most prized possessions they give out there. And if you're not familiar with Annie, you need to go just look on some old CrossFit.com videos. She was, back in the day, one of the original OGs, spreading the word. A lot of history there, so I'm excited to see her still competing.
All right, on to the 45 to 49-year-old division, and the defending champion from 2016 is on top of the leaderboard after the Open. That is Cheryl Brost with 23 total points. She finishes 21 ahead of Julie Ackerman, and then Kylee Massey is in third place with 56 points. But Cheryl Brost is a woman who just, it doesn't matter where you stick her in what division, she's probably going to the games.
Yeah, she has been wildly successful across multiple divisions. She's actually been to the games 6 times across 3 different divisions. That's 2 Masters divisions as well as the individual competition back in 2010, 2011, and 2012. But she finished last year by basically winning the entire season. She won the Open, Masters Online Qualifier, and the games. She finished on the podium twice in 2 different divisions. Last year being her first Masters Championship, which she won at the games by 102 points over second place finish. This year, she's in first place after the Open. It's just another strong performance from Cheryl that I expect to continue the rest of the way.
Kylee Massey is a woman who is among a group of athletes who have a really good shot here at the top spot after the Masters Online Qualifier. And making it to the games as a master is now basically a full-time occupation. And Kylee Massey finishes third place, 56 points, despite the fact that she really isn't training full-time.
No, and that's what just makes her so much more impressive. She'll be trying to go back for her 3rd time. She won the division in 2015, first place, gold medal around the neck. Now performing very well in the Open. She's out of Australia, CrossFit Athletic. But like you mentioned, super impressed. She's a mom of 3. She says that's basically her full-time gig. And so to somehow carve out the time, not just to kind of stay in shape, but to be heading on to the qualifying round, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. That is going to do it for us for today. We'll be back tomorrow to break down the men's side of things from age groups 35 to 39, 40 to 44, and 45 to 49. For Pat Sherwood and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you guys then.